beautiful souls. I am Valeria Maritza at Healing Through You. I am an infinite being of light, and so are you. Today, I want to talk to you about putting the blame on others or avoiding responsibility for your life, the way it's showing up. So, as you know, I have spoken about this many times that we create our future, and we do this by our thoughts. Our thoughts become feelings, our feelings create things in the physical three-dimensional world that we are experiencing. And so everything that you think about, you bring about. And that works both ways, with the positive, with the negative. And in terms of when we're going down a spiral of bad luck, to say, right? Oh, this happened, this other thing happened, I don't have money yet, oh, whatever it is, right? And we're blaming everyone for what is happening to us. So there's a couple of things here. Number one, everything that happens for us, not to us. And what does that mean? It means it happens for us so that we can expand, so that we can learn, so that we can figure out our next steps, so that we can move forward in our journey and escalate our learning, our expansion, and our awareness, really. And the second thing was things that happen because we created them. We created them by aligning with that energy. And what does that mean? When you're feeling down or upset or discouraged, then you are feeling in a very low frequency vibration. And the more that you think about these things, the more that you live them. I mean, come on. How many of you have gone through something that's really tough in your life or upsetting, right? Especially when it's something upsetting, you get like really mad and you relive this in your mind. You continue to say it over and over. You continue to play it different ways. What could have been the best way of answering that? This used to happen to me when I was young with my mother. I would come on and something would happen and she would have the perfect answer for me every single time. I kid you not. And it came to the point that I used to practice in my mind how the next event would go. So I would have something that I wanted to say or something that I wanted, and I would play it out. Okay, if I say it this way, she would say that. And if she says that, I'm going to say this. And if she says that, then I'm going to say this other thing. And if she says this other thing, then I'm going to come up and this is going to be my answer. Kind of like a chess game, that you figure out all the moves before you actually play it. And I did this. And then, of course, I would go and I would play it out, and she would give me an answer that I had not thought about. Nowhere close. And she would stump me. And I would be so mad, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this just happened. And then I would go back and replay all of this. So I know this is just me. I don't know how many of you have had this type of experiences with your parents as a child, but it happened to me. But I know it can happen and has happened many times in our adult life, right? With anything that happened at work or somebody, whatever it is that wasn't your best thing. And then you relive it and you replay it. And then if it's something that really upset you, a lot of times that you have a really bunch of friends that are there to listen to you, what happens? You retell the story. You tell the story again. This is what happened. This is what so and so did, and this is what I said, and this is what they said, and this is what she did, and this is what he did, and whatever, right? And as we continue to tell the story, you notice that you're getting angry again and you're feeling it. You're bringing all of those emotions again. You are reliving what happened. And when you relive what happened, it's as if it's happening all over again. And everything happens. All the chemical changes in your body happen again. So you really actually are reliving it again. You are creating the same situation over and over. And when you're doing that, what you're telling to the universe is, this is what I want. This is where I want to be. Because you can't let go. You can't let go of whatever it is that bugged you, right? And so you create this in the future. That means that you make another event happen that is very similar, another situation, something else that will make you upset or um, not like the way things are going will present in your life again. Why? Because whatever frequency you are living in attracts more things of the same frequency. So if something happened, you had a fight with someone and you're retelling the story, reliving it, feeling it, right? You feel it. This is the key to it. You feel the anger. You feel that sensation of anger, of disappointment, of argument, and then you relive it again within you, in your mind, as you're telling it. And then the next day, something else happens that brings all of those same emotions again. It could be even a completely different thing. It happens again. And so then you continue to live in this spiral of either going down the spiral of more and more negative things that make you even more and more upset or depressed or angry, and you continue to attract these things to your life because you continue to relive them and to feel them. It works the same way the other way. If you're having a really lucky day, oh my gosh, this is so great. This is what happened. I found this. I got that. I got the perfect job. I'm living my best life. And you're talking about this and sharing with everybody, then you relive every single part of the good. And then what happens is that you are living in a high frequency or higher frequency than the other one that we were talking about. And then you attract more of those things that you like in your life. So the next day, you get something else that you like, something else that's good for you, something else that you enjoy, something else that you cannot believe is happening to you in a good sense. And you continue to talk about it and you continue to bring forward more exciting things that align with that frequency. So this is why sometimes you look at people and you're like, oh my gosh, that person is so lucky. Like they're always getting whatever they want. They're always receiving this and that. Yeah, it's true. Why? Because they're feeling the feeling of having received and having had that joyful part of their life. The more you feel it, the more you make it happen in the future. So when you're feeling down or depressed or angry, all you have to do is change your thoughts. You start thinking of the good things, right? This is why everybody talks about being grateful, saying thank you. What do I have to be thankful for, right? And if you're like really in a down, low, depressed way, you're going to be like, there's nothing I can think about that is good. Well, you know what? You're alive. Is that a good thing? Maybe you're thinking, no, it's not. Maybe I just want to leave this world at this point and I just don't want it to deal with it any longer, right? But you know what? You're choosing to stay, aren't you? I'm not saying to go ahead and choose the other way. I'm just saying find the things that you can be thankful about. Maybe it is that you can walk, right? How many people are sick and they have lost the mobility of their body or the use of their body as they used to, right? How many people have lost their sight? How many people have lost limbs? How many people have lost different functions of their body, right? So maybe you can be thankful for that and begin there. Maybe you have a roof over your head and you're not cold or getting wet with the rain, right? Maybe you can start there in the stuff that you have. Maybe you can start with, oh, I have a blanket and it's cold and this blanket is keeping me warm. I'm grateful for this. You can start with the very basic things that you do have. And once you begin to repeat those things and talk about those things, you begin to raise your frequency, and then you begin to feel that gratitude. And the next day, what happens is that more of the things that you can be grateful for, more of the things that you like, more of the things that are making your life easy and happy come into your life, into your awareness. So the trick is to be there and stay there so that you can continue to reap the rewards of living in this high frequency energy. And so when we are angry or upset or something has happened and it happens because of somebody else, right? And the first thing that we want to do is blame them, as in, if it wasn't for them, I would fill in the blank. This is so common. It is the biggest and first part of the ego taking over your life by telling you that it is someone else's fault for what you are going through. It isn't. And that's the truth. It isn't. No one can make you see or feel or do things that you don't want. It is a choice. And you're saying, I know, you're going to start going into all of the extremes, right? Well, no, what if there is no choice? There is no way. There is nothing. There's always a choice. Always, 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 always. And you need to understand that the first step to raising your frequency and to changing your life for the better, your situation, whatever it might be, is to look at yourself and see how you are taking part in your reality, in what's happening in your life. So, for example, if you are living in an abusive relationship and you see no way out, I can't because, and the ego is going to give you 1,000 reasons of why you can't. Yet, there are so many people who have been in abusive relationships who have been able to leave. Not saying that it was easy, but they have been able to do it. And how have they been able to do it? By making the final choice and decision. It's not of thinking, I can't do it, or I choose not to do it, or there is no other way. It is just doing it, right? And sometimes it takes a really long time to get to the point of no return, to the point where you get enough courage to do it, enough strength to do that. And sometimes it's faster, right? It's not about that. It's about the actual action to do something that is different to get yourself out of that situation. And then once that's done, what happens? Once that's done, that's the hardest part, is making that hard step of moving forward. Then everything else begins to fall into place. It happens for you. Your relationship of what's happening in your life, it's never about the other person that we believe is doing things to us. It is always about what we are allowing to happen to us for whatever reason. And most of these things, especially on abusive relationships, it happens because of the belief that we are not good enough, the belief that we cannot get better or any better than what we have, the belief that this is the best I can have because this is the best that I deserve. I do not deserve any more than this, and therefore I'm going to stay here. This is the best I can do. This is really not so bad. These are all things, these are all lies that we tell ourselves when we are in relationships that are not good for us, that keep us small, that keep us from blossoming and becoming the true, strong beam of light that we are. These are all things that we tell ourselves, that our ego tells ourselves, to continue to keep ourselves small and not moving forward and not moving to the next level. And it is also because of fear, the fear of the unknown. For example, what will I do if I leave? Perhaps I don't have the money to do so. This is like one of the major things, right? When we don't have the financial way out of a situation, of a relationship, we stay. And we stay because we don't see a way out. But there is always a way out. And there's always help. And there's always something else. We just have to choose it. We have to choose us first. So when you're looking in the mirror and you're saying, I didn't create this life, I didn't create the situation, I didn't create the feelings that I have, that is part of the denial. The denial, the ego is telling you this. Why is the ego telling you this? Because if you can't get through that part, if you cannot understand that you really are responsible for what's happening, for the way that you are allowing things to happen in your life, then you cannot move forward. It's like the alcoholic, right? You cannot help an alcoholic unless they themselves decide first and point the finger at themselves that, yes, I am an alcoholic. And it is not everybody else's fault. It is our fault if we are, right? Because we are the ones who chose to do this. And despite the same choice, we can choose not to. So an alcoholic cannot move forward to the next level unless they first admit that they are. This is why when they go to Alcoholics Anonymous, the first thing they say is they introduce themselves and they say, and I am an alcoholic, right? That is the first thing, is admitting what it is that you are doing yourself. Is the first thing, is admitting, this is me, it is my responsibility, and now how do I move forward? But that's the first step. So it is the first step on everything. On everything. Whatever it is happening in your life, look in the mirror first and see what it is that you continue to point out the fingers at anyone else except for yourself. And take responsibility for your actions or non-actions. Take responsibility. Look yourself in the mirror. Understand that there is nothing wrong with you. Whether you choose to point fingers at others or point fingers at yourself and admit it, that it is your part, that you're taking part in the creation of your life, that's the first step. And also know that there's nothing wrong with whatever part of the journey you are at right now. If you are not ready to see it this way, if you're still too hurt to be able to look at yourself and understand that this is your choice and that other people are doing this to you, that's okay. It's part of your journey. It's part of your divine journey, of your divine self, your higher self. Give yourself the love, the understanding, and the compassion that you are on the right track. But this podcast, this story, this chat here right now is to open your eyes a little bit more to understanding that all healing begins with you first, and that if you are pointing your finger at others, that is the first step. Letting go of that part of pointing that finger and pointing it back at you, and finding where it is that you are choosing this. Admitting that part, letting yourself be seen in that, which is really difficult because we never want to be wrong as humans. It's really very hard. It's one of the hardest things for humans to do, is to admit that they are doing something that is bringing whatever reality is bringing to their awareness, as opposed to, this is happening to me because all of these other things, all of these other factors, and I can name 100 of them. All of that does is takes away your opportunity to heal. You cannot heal until you look inside of you and find the reasons why you are choosing this. And like I said before, most of this comes from your own belief that you are not good enough. And once you get through that part and you admit it, okay, you know what? It was my choice to do this. That person didn't make me do that. That person didn't prevent me from doing this that I wanted. It is me. It is my choice. I'm the one who is allowing myself to be treated this way, um, held this way, prevented from doing the things my way. It's really me. It's not the other ones. And so that's the first step. I'm thinking and feeling I covered everything. I am hoping that this helps you a little bit in realizing and looking within you that this is the first step in healing. If you need help, reach out. Reach out for anything and anyone that you know about that has come into your awareness for help, if this is what you need. Because a lot of times this is something that as you become aware of it, you don't know what to do with it next. So reach out. How do you reach out? Just find out somebody who is there for you, or you can even do automatic writing, which I spoke about in I believe it was my last podcast. Automatic writing, which is when you take a notebook and a pen and you start writing and writing and writing all of your fears, all of your questions, and then you also begin to write your answers as they flow through your hand onto the paper, which is when you are connected to your higher self. I hope this has helped you. I hope this has opened up some eyes. I hope that this has been able to redirect the blame that we tend to put on others. And it happens to everyone at every level, even people who have been working on themselves for a long time, such as myself. We tend to fall back into these ideas, these old ideas that there's nothing wrong with me and it must be somebody else's fault. And then you stop, right? Oh, wait a second. I'm pointing my finger. That must be me who's doing something to create this. It happens to everyone. So just be aware that this is not a blame thing. This is not something about telling you you're doing something wrong. This is just awareness, because it happens at all levels. And the more you do this work, the more that you do the work on yourself, on your inner self, the faster that you're able to recognize it when you do it again, when you think it again, when you begin pointing that finger and then you're like, oh, wait a second, I know what this is, I recognize it, and then you can heal it and move forward from it much easier, much faster than before. So it happens to everyone. I'm not saying that this is just some people. This happens to all of us, because we all have been carrying that same wound of not being good enough. We all have been working on healing that. Healers, light workers, people who are just awakening, everyone has began with the same exact wound. And then we just continue to move forward and continue to move forward and continue to move forward. I love you so much, sending you so much love and compassion, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.